Hello, this is Joe, once more with a few thoughts about the readings that we had today from the Holy Bible. We had a reading from the Old Testament about the Lord coming into his temple, and then we had a reading from Hebrews, which showed Jesus, who is one of us, and he is a very worthy high priest because he can identify with our weakness. And then we had a reading from the Gospel where Mary and Joseph presented baby Jesus in the temple. What have I learned today when I meditate on these readings? I must admit that I haven't elicited a lot of lessons for myself. But I think one central thought that comes into my mind is Jesus being presented in the temple reminds me that I need to present myself in the temple of God in his presence. I need to go in front of God and understand that I am in the presence of one who knows me through and through. I really think that, every person, there are actually three facets of each person. One is the way the people look at him, the way he looks at himself, and the way God looks at him. And I need to understand that some people may have a distorted view of who I am. I might have a distorted view of who I am, but only God knows the truth of who I am. And when I go in front of God, I need to understand that I'm being x-rayed by the truth of his Spirit. And the Holy Spirit has acted on two elderly people, Simeon and Anna, in the temple, and he inspired them to understand that that little baby was not just a little baby like the other babies being presented, but he was the glory of Israel and the light of the nations. So Malta is one of the nations. Jesus is the light of Malta. Jesus is the light of whatever country you come from. But how much are we aware of the centrality of Jesus in our lives, in our country? So I think today I'm focusing on Jesus being presented in the temple as the light of the world, as the King of the Jews first, and the King of the Gentiles second. So let us come into this realization that God is God, and we need to go with a fear of the Lord on one hand, and the love of God in the other hand. They go together. If you have a love of God without the fear of God, and the fear of God without the love of God, I think you'll have a distorted view. But we need to have that sense of reverence of the holiness of God, and realize that Jesus is the one that can open wide the sense of God's presence in our lives. Jesus can open wide what seems to be dark and gives us light. And my brothers and sisters, we need light in our life. So I just want to leave you with this thought in your mind. Let's look at Jesus to enlighten our burdens and to give light to us in our walk with him and in our daily life. God bless you, my friends.